Mm.
It's, I mean, that's the reality that most of the times we won't find a community ready to push us forward. There will be some, most of the times you have to literally create the community by yourself.
Oh yes.
And
Oh
especially,
yes.
it, remember, I think the biggest difference is that that is school. It is structured.
Mm-hmm.
Once you are out of school, there's no structure.
Let alone the curriculum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no structure, there's no curriculum. That's why it is very easy for 10 years to pass and there's nothing specific that you can point out that this is what I've achieved in these 10 years. It's very easy. I look back when from the time I graduated from medical school to the time when I intentionally took charge to determine the direction of my life. And I probably lost some 2 to 3 precious years. So that even when I thought I was making progress, I was responding to the opportunities in the environment rather than sticking with my vision. And the opportunities kept changing. At one point, I got an offer to become a consultant with an NGO that was working directly with the World Health Organization. At another point, I became very close with a major regional politician who I was helping do certain things. At one point, I was a partner in a business that was growing. And then at another point, I was running the House of Mastery. At that time, I used to call it Mastery 2.0. So here I feel busy and I'm growing, but I'm growing erratically. There is no direction. And this is it's very deceptive. And that's the biggest difference. If I was still in school, the curriculum has a beginning point, it has an ending point, and it has a certain direction. How you perform within the curriculum depends on how much effort and how much capacity you have, sometimes also the resources you have access to. But once you're out of the curriculum, which is the majority of our life, most of our life will be without a curriculum.
Oh yeah.
There's no curriculum for starting and setting up a personal, your own side business. There's no curriculum for raising a family. There's no curriculum for preparing for your career, expanding your skills, setting up your you organizing your effort around a passion you have. For example, for you writing, there's no curriculum, and unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
most of the rest of your life, that's where you're going to operate from.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm very happy to hear that you've been able to get up the fast. That is the beginning. And how to what extent do you feel you've been able to to what is happening with your writing? What has the journey been like when you're restarting it during this season?
What I've noticed is that I tend to explain a lot, and so I surpass that 500 limit of words,
Yeah,
and I have to backtrack to my concept note. So my first article just started and drifted off to a different direction.
yeah,
So I think with my second article, I want to start with the concept from the start, having three focus points, and being very succinct with my elaboration. Just that. I really don't want to complicate it because it's something that is new, and I want to get the basics before I complicate the process.
yeah, yeah. Who is your ideal reader for the blog?
Uh, my ideal reader is these small brick and mortar businesses that are pivoting online, setting up selling systems and looking for some sort of guidance on how to do their DIY selling system.
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
whatever inquiries that they're getting, they're not falling through the cracks because they didn't morph into a sale. So how do you keep in touch with these people? How do you create a system to keep in touch with the people who have contacted you, and your system is not losing any new leads?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I will tell you that that was the hardest thing for me to learn. When I started doing events in Kenya, I was organizing emotional intelligence events, public speaking events, storytelling events. I forgot that the lead I have from yesterday is probably worth 5 I will pursue tomorrow.
Oh,
So I would
yes.
end up losing the leads I already have in pursuit of new leads, or
Mm.
during every event trying to re-advertise to create fresh publicity around the event. And when I look back in the initial months of the business, that was probably the biggest mistake.
Yeah, and those ones are much, much easier to convert because they already know about your business. So it would take less effort to get them to be persuaded about your product or whatever service that you're offering.
Yeah, yeah. It's what is the age range and educational level of your ideal reader?
I'm trying to make it as simple as possible with simple languages. What are they called? Short sentences. It should be to the point that um, anyone who's left secondary school can understand and apply, and anyone at 35. I think just between 18 and 50. 18 and 50.
18 and 50, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very simple.
Mm. I see you. I mean, you've thought through some of the key ingredients that will shape your message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shape your message. Is there like an overall problem you are solving? So if I read your article, if you articles, for example, subscribed and read your articles through 1 year, which one
Mm-hmm.
problem area, which one specific problem? I think you've already alluded to that. Which one?
Yeah, I'd like to focus on selling systems.
Selling.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, selling in its simplicity, sales.
Yeah.
Because I believe as Kenyans, we tend to fall back on uh, the standard that is, and there's a lot more information that needs to be shared.
Yeah, that's a big area. Marketing, there's a lot happening in the marketing space, marketing and sales space, especially digital marketing and sales globally. But I perceived that locally there was lack of people that you could turn to who are accessible, because it's mostly the sales agencies and they are so far removed.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you read other people's stories, if they're based in Philippines or China or Australia, the context shapes it, influences their message in such a way that it doesn't connect as strongly as a local message from a local
Mm.
example would connect. So what you have is valuable to you and to somebody, and you do not know who will read this article. These articles will go into offices and homes and spaces you will never go physically.
Yeah, the learning curve is quite huge. I've been researching on even things like leading traffic onto like just the structure of the blog and how to bring traffic onto it. It's mind blowing the learning curve, but it is possible. It is possible. Even in terms of selling systems, I've been doing a lot of studying on edX and Coursera. That's been keeping me busy. What's the other thing? I've also been studying, yeah, basically that, all around that.
I believe that's how you figure out whether you are growing in that area.
Yeah.
Because if you're not learning something new and learning something new consistently, you're probably not growing. And it's that growth ends up reflecting in the quality of your writing, so that it not only does the quality of your writing become better, but you find that you are becoming better. Because remember, this challenge is all about how do we make growth automatic? How do you make growth natural in the next 1 year, that you growing, your business growing, your skills expanding, your expertise deepening? It's automatic. If it's not automatic, it won't happen as easily over the long haul. During the 90 days challenge, we can push ourselves, but it comes to a day when the willpower tires, because willpower is very fickle. It tires. And once it tires, sometimes things can fall by the wayside. So the learning is the biggest insurance you have that you will remain on track. And the more you keep learning, the better. It is 2 years from today, and your blog has succeeded beyond your wildest dreams. So what has happened?
Oh, I'm excited about the passive income. I'm getting cash flow from my first blog, which I didn't think was up to standard, but it is valuable to somebody. I'm sharing my thought process. I'm more articulate with my words. I'm more articulate with my thought process and how it's reflected, and I communicate in a way that is understandable to anyone, to just about anyone. It doesn't need a further elaboration. I'm very clear and concise with my language.
I love it. I love it. I love that that picture focuses mostly on what has changed in your approach, in your ability to write, and that's how we get there. Now let's flip the coin. It is 2 years from today, and the blog didn't happen. What were the barriers that held you back from doing it?
Barriers. Distracted from other commitments, be it family, be it work.
Yeah.
Yes, primarily that, and probably not growing in my skill as it comes to writing.
Yeah.
What I was learning was just passing through. I didn't internalize it as well as I should have.
Yeah. So again, now the third part, it's 2 years out. You faced these obstacles, but you overcame them. You faced all of them more frequently than you expected, but you overcame them. What did you do to overcome? We are already 2 years out, and it has happened. The blog is successful, but it's after we faced these obstacles. So what did you do?
I collaborated with other established bloggers. I asked for help. I shared my material. I grew my skill. I challenged my internal beliefs and fear of failure, and I challenged my fear of the unknown, not venturing as much as I should have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Just
think that's
listen in and see
yeah.
whether anything else comes up. Just continue.
No, that's about it for now.
Okay. You'll keep allow yourself later to just reflect, and it's I picked something just so powerful. This is you are headed onto, I think your mind will be blown in 1 to 2 years from today. Your mind will be so blown just by seeing what I see right now. Your mind is going to be blown. I can tell you are editing at a level that you probably haven't edited any of your during your previous attempts.
Not at all. I did it myself this time round, and I'm very happy at the outcome. In the past, I've been outsourcing the editing assistance, but this time I did it myself. Yeah, so I'm happy. And I followed all the guidelines that I was taught. So it goes to say that I was actually learning and I internalized the editing process.
The editing process is like the biggest bottleneck when it comes to writing, because there is nothing that is written, everything is edited. You write the first version, by the time you publish it, sometimes the two articles are very different, and
So
the
even
refinement.
the focus point changes. Sometimes the focus point changes. So you find yourself starting like a fresh article altogether to drive the direction of your title, or even taking the body of your focus ideas.
Yeah, yeah. It's 2 years out and the blog is successful. If you could summarize everything you learned down to one rule in terms of one principle to operate by, what is that principle for you?
Uh, don't fear risks. I don't know how to articulate that in the form of a principle, but that would be my biggest learning point out of that.
Mm.
Sometimes we doubt ourselves and our capability. That lack of faith, it transcends in your decisions and your goals. So it may be as small as a mustard seed, but if you don't act on it, it will
Yeah,
never materialize to what you envision it to be.
yeah. That is the reality. It's everything starts as a seed. Everything starts as a seed, and I think that is what Miles Monroe calls the principle of the seed. That when you look at a forest, there was a day that all those trees belonged to a seed, and you can summarize any forest into a handful. You can carry in your hands all the seeds, if you go back far enough, all the seeds that originated the forest. You can be held in one in you can hold them like this. in
Mhm.
in 3 years of nursing one grain of maize, you can have a plantation, because that one grain will produce one cob. One cob will plant an acre. That acre will plant 100 acres. Just one seed. Except when it's a seed, we don't see its power. Unfortunately, I mean, by the time it really germinates, it takes a while, and we give up on the seed when it's still in the germination state. You can you can you can narrow down. I mean, you look at, for example, an avocado tree that has probably 500 pieces of avocado. There is a day it was a seed, just one seed. It was
Mhm.
planted, and just in the course of time, it matures and it becomes something. I believe in the power of an idea around which you build faith. I believe that with every fiber of my being. I believe that so deeply that I've tested it over and over and over. I believe if I believe that faith is organizing your mind around the idea that you have embraced, so that your mind stops pruning and cutting down the idea. It starts supporting and building the idea. Believe if you organize your, this is what so many people have expressed in so many other the languages. I mean, the Bible calls it faith, the evidence of
Things unseen.
what, it's evidence. You don't have what is not seen, you don't have it, but you have the evidence of what is not seen. It's like, so that when you have the seed, you literally have the evidence of a forest, but it doesn't look like it. When you have a seed, when you have that idea, you have the evidence of you have a forest. It just looks too tiny, but give it time. Plant it, nurture the initial seedling, let it grow, and harvest all its seeds and plant them again. And you are already on a journey to getting your forest. That's what people have called the law of attraction, the law of faith, the law of correspondence. It's 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 the same thing. It's the power of an idea around which you organize your mind so that you can show up consistently. You can start believing it, or even if you don't actively believe, you avoid from actively disbelieving. Because sometimes belief catches up, but you just need to make sure that during that time, as you wait for belief to catch up, you are not disbelieving, which means you're going in the negative direction. You would rather remain neutral. Remain neutral. If you have the seed and you plant it, even if you don't believe it's going to germinate, just show up and water it. It will germinate. Just a matter of time. It will germinate. So I believe we have planted a seed. In this one area of your blog, we have planted a seed, and it's only a matter of time. Your audience is waiting. There's an audience out there that even if I did a similar blog, I wouldn't connect with them the way you would connect with them. That audience is waiting. And who say that that audience is in Kenya or East Africa? We don't know where they are.
Amen.
We don't know where they are. I know 100% without a doubt you have audience in almost every country. The question is, when that audience comes, will you be ready for them? Some people's businesses should remain small as it is, because the clients that they need to serve, if they all showed up, the business doesn't have what it takes. I remember a certain young man whose bags were showcased online by Lupita Nyong'o, but he didn't have the capacity to produce them. And by the time he was getting ready to produce them, somebody from China had already duplicated those bags and sent those bags to the US. Your clients will show up. Are you ready for them when they show up? Your readers will show up. Will you be ready for them when they show up? I look back some of the opportunities that I accessed. I accessed them too early. I was not ready for what was required to fully take advantage of those opportunities. I accessed them too early. I wish they had come a little later. But then by the time they're coming later, somebody else has grabbed that opportunity, somebody who is ready for it, right? And which is why every time you take up an opportunity that is not aligned with your vision, most likely you are not ready for it, because the preparation it takes for you to be truly ready for an opportunity aligned to your vision is not quick. There's no quick hit about it. It takes time, it takes consistency. Most of the preparation is mindset and belief and personal identity and personal rituals and routines and habits, and even the network that you associate yourself with, the knowledge base you have built. So it takes a long time, so that sometimes a glistening opportunity comes by that is not aligned to your vision. It's only going to waste your time. Soon enough, you will realize that you are not ready for it, or it's not the right opportunity for you. But I believe in the power of growing something within. So for you, for example, growing your ability to write, your ability to read. Sometimes even, let's say, for example, you go to an interview and, or there maybe they want to hire you as a consultant, or give you a position that would enable you to access the level of network that would help you move to the next step. Just by how you write to them sometimes makes all the difference. I believe some of the places I ended up being interviewed, for example, in the recent process I went through, is my writing. Like, they would read what I've written and they're like, this is interesting. Like, you've written differently than other people. or they listen to me show up and interview and speak. My best 5 interviews, all of them, they started off by asking me, how did you become so fluent? And so I know they don't want to say it, but they're like, how did you become so fluent speaking English? I'm sure that's what they want to say. Of course, I'm like, I grew up in Kenya. We speak English in Kenya, and I've traveled other places where they also speak English. But so some of those things that you've been building on, they will show up at a time when you least expect it. So Elena, you're holding a seed in your palms. This is a forest. So we want the forest. We want to come and visit that karura when it's grown. Please don't kill the karura that you have in your hands.
I will try my best.
Yeah.
I'll give it my all. It's very important to me, as you've said, to focus on something that aligns with my goals, yes, and the opportunities that aligns with my goals. And most importantly, from what you said, I think also embracing that identity that I am a writer will help me to get to that next level of my writing. That identity is just, it's the weight of it all.
Yeah,
and it all comes to practice. Yeah.
absolutely. Identity is, you remember that circle, that series of circles I always share. At the center, there is spirit, there is the why, your spiritual power. Then next is identity, who you are, why you are here, your purpose, and who you are. Those two forces together, they influence everything else. Everything. If you see yourself as a backbencher, and here you are trying to take leadership positions, you are going to sabotage yourself at some point. Yeah, so I totally agree with you. Your identity is a powerful force. It influences everything you do. Everything you touch has a bit of you in it. Every conversation, every presentation, every idea, every article you write, every speech you make, every journey you embark on, it has a bit of you. And that's why when you look at, for example, blogs, people don't follow the blog, they follow the writer. When they connect with the writer, so that the more you learn to reflect a little bit of what your sentiments are, the more strongly you connect. I think a good example is Biko.
Oh, yes.
People read his articles, but they read his articles because of Biko. Your identity blesses everything you do. The word is, it contaminates everything with you, but it contaminates them with you. If it contaminates them with your authentic you, then it's blessing what you're doing. So you leave your mark. You leave your mark on everything you touch. Everything. Everything you touch. People follow journalists, people follow politicians, people follow individuals because of the individual. Just that individual energy, it's unique. It cannot be replicated. You build yourself around it until you learn to release more of it more authentically, because you've given yourself enough inner growth that you feel comfortable being just you. I have read Biko's articles, and I feel like he's becoming more of himself the more he writes. And that's true for every writer. They are becoming more of themselves the more they write. And I like I think his motto is to writing only on things he cares about. And it's very clear. Writing on things, and you can feel that energy when you read his articles. Some of my favorite writers, that's the case, that you can feel the personal energy in what they write. Otherwise, it will just be another PowerPoint presentation. It has no personality. Isn't that what we mean by, oh, this book doesn't have a personality? This presentation doesn't have a personality. because it's
Yeah.
dry.
The voice,
Yeah,
the writer's voice. Mm, very true.
yeah. So keep going, Elena. Let me see who else has joined us. Keep going on your journey. I'm so excited. Brainy.
Hey, I was just listening your conversation. This has been the most deepest conversation. Elaine, I need to hang out with you so you can teach me those tips.
Welcome. I have space.
Yeah.
Hi, Brainy. It's
Hi, Doc.
yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
yesterday I joined with Pat, but did you guys have a session yesterday? Because I stayed till like I have maybe 45 past 12, but there was no one, so we just left.
what I don't remember what time I came in, but I definitely came in late.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think I
right.
came in late, and of course, once I arrived, I went on and recorded that and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so this month was meant to be mostly just conversations for us to actually just talk,
Okay.
because we have already accumulated enough knowledge. We just need to talk and
Mm-hmm.
connect in such a way that we build we build a force around what we want to do, and we will do this through most of 2021. Not we may not converse as frequently, but we will keep it uh, on a regular basis through most of the year, so that whether or not I am available, you guys just show up and do it. How are you doing, Brain?
Oh, I've been good. Last week has been challenging for me because, yeah, my school girl called me because I had applied for like my master's and they were not sure when the visa offices are gonna open.
Yeah.
So they got back to me and I was up and down going to the Chinese embassy to get my documents done. And then the day I was supposed to join in, something fell in my eyes. I don't know if it was a piece of a glass. So I had to go to the hospital real quick. They didn't have any equipment, so I had to go somewhere else. I spent the whole day, came back home, and I just took the rest.
So
So I decided to come back yesterday, but no one was online.
oh
So, but
my.
I was having class.
So
No, it was just me and Pat. So we talked for a short while, then I had to go back to class. So,
yeah,
but it's okay. Yeah.
there is still a power in just showing up, even if you don't end up, doing something, long. Just showing,
Yeah.
and because I believe that this is a space we created where we it it just carries a certain type of energy that reminds
Right.
of the direction that we want to move towards.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's happening on your end?
I was okay. So there's some time back I had asked Elena was talking about something about was asking her how does she plan to write on her blog because I was having challenges when you talked about like creating the short videos and I learned something from her when she mentioned about like on a weekly basis she'd do like the research like from Monday probably to Saturday, then at the end of the week she writes her blog.
Yeah.
So I took that advice, and that's been what I've been doing on my Chinese video. So
Yeah.
I'll do like a whole week, pick up a topic. Maybe it could be like doing an interview in Chinese. So just make probably 3 sentences and practice that because the pronunciation has to be correct. Because
Mm.
in Chinese, if you miss any pronunciation, it's gonna mean something else.
Yes.
Yeah, any slight thing, it means something else. So that's been what I've been doing. Because I also came, like the energy I had to start with this course, it was way too huge.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came in was like, yeah, I'm going to get this client. And then you start, then things just like, no, this is not how it's going to look like.
Yeah.
So I had to sum up like, I'm only going to create these courses, not like to focus on monetary value, but to focus on my experience. How am I going to build myself? So that is the idea how I've changed it. So I'm just gonna keep posting short videos on Instagram and Facebook,
Yeah.
And then while I go back to study, that's just something I'm gonna be doing. Just keep, like expanding my vocabulary. And I know by within some time, people, are gonna reach out. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
That is just a powerful mind shift that it's I think so that is a shift from focusing on the fruits to focusing on
Yeah.
and that's powerful.
Because I think I was trying to, plant like the fruit on the same day, and reap the fruits on the very same day, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen. That yesterday I came across this video. This guy is called, I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's called Cole Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
He came up with his own brand when he just finished high school. He's quite a simple guy. I actually made his video on TED Talks. It was interesting how like he came up with this, like his own brand. He was home, then he was asking his mom about the idea, and his mom was like, "Oh, you can come up with lemonade, something lemonade." And he was like, he took that idea to school, and when he told his friends, they were laughing about him. But he was like, for him, he either had to choose whether to follow, like the opinion of others, or
Yeah.
trust his idea. So later on, he was like, he went to the nearby store, printed out stickers, and gave it out to all his friends, whether they knew what he was working on or not. And he just like kept working on it. Anyway, this to make this story short, this guy now works. He's around 24. He now works with around over 300 like top artist in the world.
Yeah.
And I was just so inspired by that. I'm like, yeah, let me just focus on this idea, because Ryan is like, when I'm creating these videos, other people, will tell me like, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But for me, I know, like, I see where I'm going and what, like the age we in right now, like economically. So I'm just gonna keep creating that, waking up every morning and just staying committed and consistent. That's all.
One of the easiest ways to test whether an idea has a market is
Yeah.
you advertise it and clients respond. Now, most of the times, the initial clients who respond are the wrong clients. But the fact that they respond, that is a big sign. The fact that they respond, because the audience you need is out there. It's you are not ready for that audience, because the audience you're ready for will pay you huge amounts of money for you to offer them the gift of your skill. You're not ready for them. But the fact that a market responds to an idea, it shows you that that idea is viable. Because sometimes I have seen people do a lot, uh, create a brand, pay for a logo, get a website, start a Facebook page, and brand a YouTube channel, but they haven't tested the idea. So some of what you've already done just by putting the idea out there, that young person who contacts you and they're like, "Can you pay for me?" You know what that means? There is another parent who has a teenager his age who would pay you to teach the teenager today, like they would actually pay you, but you have to be ready to handle that kind of client, because that would probably be a mother who is a millionaire or even a billionaire. The conversation, the child that they will send to you is coming from such a different mindset that you have to be ready to handle whatever comes. You're ready because your skill has deepened and your consistency has proven itself. Your approach, your ability to teach, you are versatile, your command of what you are teaching them, whether it's Chinese or something else, has deepened and grown. So you are ready. So this is you getting ready, really getting ready for the marketplace. And you don't know where that marketplace is. Maybe your market might be when you are in China for your masters. You have intensive Chinese, basic Chinese for business people coming from other countries, and they come and spend the first 48 hours with Brainy so that they know the basics of how to find their way around. You don't know what it's going to be. You have a gift. Having Chinese, the ability to speak Chinese, you have the ability to speak the language of 1.4 billion people. And it's the one country that produces more than 40% of the world's manufactured products, literally. And in some categories of products, it's literally the only place that these products are manufactured, especially construction materials, textiles, uh, any lot of timber products. Of course, most of the 3D printed and plastic products. It's electronics is a big deal, from laptops to industrial electronics to mobile phones. You're in a country that you're speaking the language of a country that almost every other country is interested in doing business with. There is no heavier business traffic going to any other country currently than to China. I mean, during the pandemic, it's been different, but up to the time the pandemic happened, there is no other country that is receiving even a third of the business traffic that goes to China consistently. And people are going to a country whose language they don't speak, and the biggest frustration is that they get there, and a lot of the times they can't understand what's going on. And the more we move forward, the millennials, Gen Zs, these are language people, and you're going to see more and more and more of that. These are language people. In terms, percentage wise, there are no other generations that have sought opportunities to learn other languages as much as these two generations. That's why things like Duolingo, all these apps that teach people language, that's how they've come up, and they are sustainable apps, because this is a generation when people are seeking experiences, seeking to travel, focusing more on experiences than accumulating things, and focusing on pursuing passions that help them to express more of themselves. So language falls right in there, music falls right in there. And it's coming to a time when the millennials and the Gen Zs are the prime of the productive marketplace. They are in leadership positions. They are the people making, the biggest decisions. And some of this will start playing in terms of what is it that they value and what is it that they elevate. So you have a gift, powerful gift. I also see your gift of being able to teach, Brain.
Thank you so much, Doc.
I see your gift of teaching, and the fact that you have these two languages in your hands. You you have no idea. You have no idea where this will lead to. So have you made progress with regards to getting your papers sorted out so that you can travel back?
I'm waiting for the embassy. Takes 5 working days,
Okay.
so I'm gonna be back in May.
Yeah, yeah. You'll be back at the embassy, or you'll travel back in May.
No, the documents processing takes like 5 working days.
Okay, then
But now, because there was also one case with the Kenyan airline, so the Kenyan airline was closed down.
oh,
So I'll go back in May. Yeah.
okay. I wish you very well, Brainy, and I'm always happy to, if there is anything I can help with, I'm always very happy. But most importantly, keep plugged in this community. We keep learning from each other, and we keep growing. Hopefully tomorrow when we link up, I would catch you in the conversation early, and we can explore one of the areas you're working on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. I've really learned a lot from, like this community. Like it's something, this is the type of information that I would have paid so much, probably, like $300, just for a session to get, like to get taught for this. But it's a free session, and I'm so grateful to take advantage of this and also apply it in my in my life and experience and where I'm headed to. So thank you so much, and I also appreciate you, Elena. You've really shared things that, I'm sure you didn't know, like they were helping me or helping other people. But yeah, thank you so much about that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Brenny. Those are very kind words. Elena, do you have anything else before we close this session today?
Just the fact that setting systems, just the way you were discussing in yesterday's video, I think that would be my next level with my goals this time around. It's brought a new, fresh perspective, and I think it will get me to a higher notch in terms of consistency.
Yeah, thank you, Elena. And yes, we'll just close today's session at that point, and look forward to meet you guys at the next session. I wish you a great day. This is Dr. Joe Mogire from the House of Mastery. Let's continue living with passion. Goodbye.